The series that we're starting today is based off a request of someone trying to play outside the box a bit more fluidly. Now, I have learned every single scale and mode inside the grimoire. I know every single superimposition for a chord that you can think of, and I am extremely good at pitch access theory. The conclusion that I've come to after all of that is that we are misunderstanding the box the same way Neo misunderstood the Matrix at the beginning of the movie. The more we understand this box, the more we can bend and break the rules the same way Neo did in the Matrix. But this means we're gonna have to start stepping on some toes. The first thing we're taught as musicians is that everybody is hearing in a major scale. I find this to be fundamentally wrong. I've stolen this idea from Bobby McFerrin, that people are hearing in pentatonics, particularly major and minor pentatonics. This is what we refer to as the box. So since this is how we're hearing anyway, let's start from there and start to control it physically and conceptually. Now, there are multiple systems on guitar that we can use to play pentatonics. There's caged, there's 3 notes per string, and there's Darrell Gable's 3-1-3. Whichever one you decide to do, make sure you can do these particular exercises. There's singles, doubles, triples, then there's grace notes, slides, and sequences of 3 and 4. This is going to help with agility and speed. It doesn't matter how much you have it conceptually down if you can't actually get around the scale and land on any note on command. So make sure you have those down physically, and now let's go to conceptually. The biggest concept that we need to get down before we start doing anything crazy is tension and release. If we cannot control tension and release, it doesn't matter if we're inside or outside this box. It's gonna sound bad. So let's start with release first. The best way of releasing a scale is landing on a 1. What's landing? Pausing or stopping on the 1. Notice I've stopped on the 1. This is the safest note that I can land on, but it also makes me sound completely finished. It's a very simple sentence. The dog ran. It makes sense to me, all right. So the next note that I can land on that's safe is the 5. Now I'm gonna compare this to like ending on a question. It's obvious that the sentence has ended, but there might be some things that are following up. The next safest note is the 3. Now this sounds like I'm finished, but there's some more happening afterwards, like the dog ran into the yard. Okay, it sounds like there's gonna be some more words coming at me. If I can get used to landing these on command, then I can release whatever tension I'm about to set up. Most of us are just noodling around blindly. Can you land on the 1, 5, and 3 whenever you think of it? The next set of notes are commonly referred to as passing tones. Passing tones are something that is not 1, 3, and 5. So let's say I land on a 2. Now, because it's not 1, 3, and 5, I sound like I'm not finished. I sound like I'm ending on a conjunction. The dog ran into the cave and what, right? The solo is still not complete. This makes the ear want to listen more because it's unresolved. We're not finished yet. Now, we can also do this with the 6. Same effect. I'm not finished yet. The dog ran into the river, but what? What's going on? What we're doing is we're trying to control that tension. The fact that I am not landing on 1, 3, and 5 makes the ear want to listen more. Again, if I am blindly noodling around on the guitar, I don't have control over these. So I have 1, 3, 5 for release and 2 and 6 for tension. So what about minor pentatonics? Minor pentatonics work the exact same way, but it's just 1 flat 3 and 5 for our landing tones and 4 and flat 7 for our passing tones. Now, in this case, we're going to be sticking in D major, but always keep that in mind. 1, 3s, and 5s, those are the landing tones. Everything else, passing. Now, one thing we definitely do not want to do is land on the same tone over and over and over again. So let's say I keep landing on the 1. You start to sound like a child after a while. The dog ran. I want a cookie. It starts to get kind of boring. Now imagine you keep landing on the 5 all the time. It's like someone who will not stop asking questions. It's kind of annoying, right? And then there's always landing on the 3. That person kind of starts to sound like they're rambling all the time. Landing on 2 and 6, I'm not even sure if you know that you're in the same universe or not. But what I want you to start doing is mixing them up. The most popular way of doing this is what's known as call and response. So what I'll do is I'll call by landing on a passing tone. Now I'll do the exact same lick, but now I'm going to end on a 5. The call is landing on a passing tone. That's the call, and now I'm going to respond. Now, this is a good way of extending your solo out and making sure that it sounds comprehensible. If it's not comprehensible, you're just noodling around all over the place. That's why you don't sound so good. It's because you don't even know where you're going. So what I want you to do is make sure that you're practicing landing on landing tones and landing on passing tones. Now this solo that I'm about to play, I'm landing on the least safest note to the safest note, and then doing the same thing backwards. The idea that I'm trying to demonstrate is as long as I'm understanding where I'm going, I'm always going to sound good. I just have to stay in rhythm. That's all I have to do. I can tell you, you can actually roll dice of whatever notes you want to. As long as you know where you're going, like you know you're going to be on a passing tone, you know you're going to be in a landing tone, it's going to sound good. Just make sure you are in rhythm and you know where you're going.